I'd like to welcome everybody to the Bipartisan Candidates Forum. If you'll please be seated if you haven't done so already. Thank you all for coming, and thank you to the candidates for offering their service in elected office and for participating in this evening's event. We also thank the Elks for allowing the use of their facility. This event is sponsored by the University of Missouri Extension, the St. Genevieve Community Access Television, and by the St. Genevieve Herald. The rebroadcast of this evening's forum can be seen on Channel 98 during the day tomorrow, and further rebroadcast before the election on April 3rd as well. My name is Toby Carrig. I'm the editor of the St. Genevieve Herald, and I will be serving as one of the panelists this evening. I'm joined by Tish Johnson of the University of Missouri Extension, and Iris Vincent and Marianne Roth, who serve as hosts of the television show What's New on Channel 98 on Wednesday evenings around this time slot. They will not be live from City Hall tonight, but the rebroadcast, as I said, will be shown tomorrow and ahead of the election on Channel 98. Tonight we begin with questions to the candidates for the two aldermanic positions in the City of St. Mary. Then we'll have candidates for the Mayor of St. Mary, then the St. Genevieve R2 School District Board of Education, the Special Roads District A, and finally the City of St. Genevieve's two aldermanic positions. In the City of St. Mary, the candidates for Ward 1 are incumbent Clyde Cassutt, write-in candidate Samantha Aubuchon, and in Ward 2, Diana Smith and Brenda Franklin. Mr. Cassutt is not able to join us tonight. He's under the weather. And we'll begin tonight by allowing the candidates who are here to speak for 2 minutes in an opening introductory statement, and that will be followed by the first question from the panel. The candidates will have 1 minute to respond to each question, and then at the end of this, be able to make a 1 minute closing statement. And we'll follow a similar patterns for the other offices, and we're going to start off, as I said, in ballot order for the first question and the opening statement. So we'll start with Samantha Aubuchon.
Hello, my name is Samantha Eileen Aubuchon. I'm running as a write-in candidate for Alderman Ward 1. My stepfather is the incumbent alderman of St. Mary's, Ward 1. My mother is the lab director at St. Genevieve County Memorial Hospital. I am a graduate of St. Genevieve High School, class of 2008. I currently work at Riverview at the Park, the rehab and nursing home that's up the hill. Brief statement about what I want to do. Most important position is the water. I'd like to do something about the water. Maybe try and fix the problems that are with the water. Maybe get the E. coli, the supposed E. coli, out of the water. Another thing is a long-term goal is to make the government more public friendly so we can all have access to everything that we need. And overall, that relatively depends on what everyone in the community wants, whether or not they want me to do what I want to do. Everything that I do is going to be based on their opinions and what they want from me. That's basically it.
Good evening. I'm Diana Smith, candidate for Ward 2 Alderman in St. Mary. I'm not a politician, nor will I ever pretend to be one. So you might ask, why am I running for public office? That's an easy answer, but it didn't come about easy. I began attending City Hall meetings in January of 2001. Because of what I experienced and observed in that and subsequent meetings, I became highly motivated to support someone who would stand up and say enough. So here I stand. I have been out in my community listening to the people. I find my neighbors to be friendly, intelligent, resourceful, and very aware. I would value their input at meetings. My only campaign promise is something that I have control over. I will listen to them and represent them in city government. You see, I believe the people are the city. Otherwise, all you have are empty buildings. I will encourage, as I have been doing, public participation in all meetings and hearings, allowing people a voice in a non-threatening, respectful atmosphere. I realize there are other responsibilities to the position, and as with any new job, I will be required to learn them. I look forward to the challenge. I also want to see my city grow, both economically and in population, and I believe it can be done. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Brenda Franklin. I'm running for alderman for Ward 2 in St. Mary's, and I have lived there for 5 years. I ran for alderman the last election, but a lot of the things that I was being told were not true. I started going to the meetings and found out what was going on, and I want to be one of the people that makes St. Mary's a place where people want to come and live. We have a lot of things in the paper about St. Mary's, and it's usually always bad stuff. We hardly ever have anything good about St. Mary's in the newspaper, and I would like to change that. I would like for people to know that St. Mary's is a great place to live, and I guess that's all I got to say.
Tish?
Thanks. Can you hear me, John? Okay. Thank you, Lise. I want to be clear here that we have candidates for 2 different wards. Ms. Abishan is running against Mr. Kassout, who's ill, for Ward 1, and Ms. Franklin and Ms. Smith for Ward 2, correct? But we're asking them all to ask questions at the same time. We'll take the questions, the answers. We'll kind of go up and down the line here a little bit. Will that work, Toby? Mm-hmm. So our first question is just a general one. Can you tell us a little bit about what qualifies you to be to serve as in the role of alderman? What skills, what experiences do you have that you can bring to the office? We'll start with Ms. Abishan. It's up to you.
Qualifications. I really don't have many qualifications. I've lived in St. Mary's for 14 years. I've been in St. Genevieve County for most of my entire life. I've been through it. I've lived, I mean, it's not as long as many of the other citizens, but I've been there. I've seen the problems with the water, not drinking water from St. Mary's, probably in at least 10 years. Had to buy bottled water for most of my life, which is not fun. That's about it. I mean, I go to school. I have fairly good education. I'm fairly intelligent. I like to listen to people. I like to interpret what they want and try and make things happen.
Thank you. Ms. Smith?
Hi. As far as qualifications for alderman, I guess that I don't have any experience as a politician or having been in a position. And in fact, I kind of I told a couple of friends, I said, if I had a bucket list, I don't think politics would be even anywhere near it. But after what I have seen and observed, and I know there's people out there that want to be heard, that need to be heard. Many of our constitutional rights are not being afforded us in the meetings, and I would just like to change some of those things and let people know that this is a good place to come where they can speak their minds and be treated with dignity and respect and be allowed to have their opinion, as we all have an opinion. And that's where I believe that I can learn the rest of it on the job, so to speak, and do a good job. And I think that's really up to the people to decide. Thank you.
Ms. Franklin?
I really don't have any experience as being an alderman, but I go to every meeting and I care about St. Mary's, and I think that should help me be a good alderman for St. Mary's.
Thank you. Iris, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. What do you have to offer that the other candidates don't?
Let's start
I'm sorry.
with, I'm sorry, let's start with Ms. Smith in the middle. We'll keep rotating who answers first.
Oh, sorry. Okay. What qualifications or what do you have to offer that the other candidate doesn't?
Oh my goodness, let's see. Well, as I stated before, that I have been to every meeting since January of 2011, and I have observed things in those meetings that I would like to see to be different. And I have talked with the people and out in the community. I've gotten out and talked with them and heard what they have to say. And they're very aware that there's something different has to be done. So I don't know if I've answered the question exactly, but I just feel that the kind of person I am, I would make a good alderman. I care about people, and I want to do the right thing by the people and by the town. Thank you.
Brenda, what do you have to offer that the other candidate doesn't?
The only thing I can say to that is I attend all of the meetings in St. Mary's. I enjoy living there. I love living there. I talk to the people in St. Mary's and get their opinions on what they would like for things to change. And I think if I was elected, I would do what was right for the town and for the people.
And Samantha?
As far as experience or what makes me better than the other candidate, there's really not much. Clyde is a great Ward 1 alderman. He's, been here for years. The only thing that I think that could distinguish me from him is that I'm younger, and he, he's more set in his ways. So maybe I don't know, but maybe he's, he has a certain way of doing things, and maybe I would be more willing to listen to different opinions or work from a different perspective, me being from another generation. Other than that, that's it.
Thank you. Do you have a question, Mary Ann?
Yes, I'd like to ask each one of them what they think are the key issues that's facing the city of St. Mary's right now.
So let's start with Ms. Franklin here.
The key issues, what was that again? The key?
What are the key issues that you think is facing
Well,
the
I think
city?
a lot of people think it's the water, and I think we need to get more community involvement, more people coming to the meetings so they can find out what's really going on rather than listen to hearsay, because I think that's a lot of our problem in St. Mary's. People aren't coming to the meetings, so they really don't know what's going on at the meetings. They're just catching bits and pieces from other people. So I think that and the water are two of the main things that I think the people in St. Mary's want their aldermen to deal with.
Please, Ms. Alvashon.
All right. Key issues. Honestly, I agree with Brenda. Going to the meetings, making it more public friendly, more public awareness, I think. We don't know a lot about our rights in the town, like the city ordinances. I'd like us to know. I'd like there to be more than one copy. Public awareness. I'd like more involvement in city groups to help beautify the city or other things to that effect. More buildings, more jobs, that would be great, but that's a long-term issue. I think that there is something wrong with the water. That's my personal opinion. I see brown water. I live close to the old tower, so that might affect that. I don't know, but I'd like to find out, what's going on, and I'd like to inform other people what's going on. So.
The issues that I believe that are okay. I find it interesting that all three of us have kind of a unified thought about that. People. We need to encourage people to come to the meetings. Right now, many of them, because we, as she stated, is not public friendly, we are not given the rights that we should have to speak and ask questions during a meeting so that we can have things clarified or whatever, or have our own, have input into how we're governed. And I think that's very important that we should. It's the right of, as Americans, to have input in our government and how we are governed. And so I would like to encourage that. That's one of the issues that I find. And the others, I think, are growth. We need to grow our city, and we're not growing at this point. It doesn't appear. So that's two of the things that I think that should be addressed.
Thank you.
Quick follow-up, by growth, do you mean economic growth, population growth? Both. Okay. Because I want to ask then, with regards to the St. Mary economy and business development, what do you think needs to happen? What do you think the city needs to do to encourage business development in St. Mary?
Well, I don't really have any experience in that area yet, but you know, being on the other side of the table, I feel that I would be able to get involved in that, maybe organizing something or seeing what's already in place that needs to be fine-tuned.
Same question to the other two, then. What do you think needs to happen? Let's go ahead there.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. What do you think needs to happen to encourage business development in St. Mary?
Well, I think that, I really don't know. I guess we need to see if we couldn't get some businesses into St. Mary's, so maybe some of the people that are unemployed could work there. You know, that's my...
There's only two things that I can think of. I agree with Brenda, bringing more small businesses in. I know a couple of small businesses that I've heard of have gone under really quickly. That's a big thing. The other thing, factories are so huge down here, and the Antique Mall used to be a factory, but after '93, the whole flood happened, and everything just went under. I don't know how it could happen, but if we got some other kind of factory or large business in here, then maybe that would help a lot.
Okay, thank you.
City meetings that you have all touched on, the public participation at the city meetings. The city passed an ordinance recently that allows both a public forum and a public participation. What more would you like to see changed that will allow the public to have greater access to the government? Sure.
Well, I think the thing that needs to happen is we need to get out and get people to come to the meetings and see what's going on and have them participate, talk about, you know, what their problems are, and get them to come to the meeting. And I think maybe if we got some people coming to the meetings, we could maybe get people to participate more.
I'm so glad you asked. One of my pet peeves has been that, first of all, that we had to go jump some hoops to get to speak at the beginning of the meeting, and then a new set of rules was put in effect, and that one allowed us to speak we could speak still at the beginning of the meeting if we had something we wanted to talk about, but then we had to wait till the end of the meeting. We are not allowed to speak at any time. If you need clarification of something, it's not allowed. You're not allowed to speak at all until the time at the very end. So what happens is if there is legislation coming down, an ordinance, or maybe something with the budget, you can't even ask for clarification. What are you talking about? You can't have any input as to how you are governed until the end. After everything is done, said and done, voted on, then you get to say something. What's the point? That's what I'd like to see changed.
She really took the words right out of my mouth, actually. Yeah. As far as I know, the having to write into the city clerk to ask to make points on what you need, on what you want to talk about, is still in effect. That's another big thing. That's the only other thing that I have to add. Really, she took everything that I wanted to say right out of my mouth.
If I can ask another question, if we could talk about the water situation for a moment, I guess that might be the last question we have for the alderman. How would you rate the city's response to the water issues? And what, if anything, do you believe should have been done differently? And what would you like to see changed going forward?
Can you please repeat the question?
How would you rate the city's response to the water issues? What, if anything, do you believe should have been done differently? And what would you like to see changed going forward?
I think that the city's response, what we wanted to do, the outrage that we had whenever we found all of the E. coli and how bad the pipe system was, we acted a lot more outraged than, and we didn't do a lot about it. It was very mixed. We didn't know what to do because it's been this way for so long. What we could have done differently, God, it's almost impossible, because how we flushed old water into the new pipe system. So anything that was in the old water tower, all the bacteria, the possible bacteria from the old tower got into the pipes. It wasn't maintained in the interim. So that is the only thing that I can think of, and proper maintenance on the valves that connect St. Genevieve water to the St. Mary. Apparently there's something wrong there too that's causing low water pressure. Just more maintenance and more focus into how the water is being funneled through, basically.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Please repeat the question.
How would you rate the city's response to the water issues? What, if anything, would you believe should have been done differently, and what would you like to see changed going forward?
Well, like the majority of the people in town, I don't drink the water either. I have some concerns because you hear different stories, and you find things that are being said, and then you go on an official website and find out that that's not always the case. You can't unring a bell. Whatever's happened in the water system, I don't know how they're going to take care of it. I do hope that they find a way, because that is one thing that will keep our town from growing, both economically, I believe, and people. I mean, why would people want to come into a place where they can't safely drink the water? The concern about it. But that is not at this point, it is not my area of responsibility until it becomes my area of responsibility. All I can say is that we need to continue to move forward and find out what is going on with it. I really don't know what we can say about it, because I would think that if there was an answer, it would have been found by now.
With the water situation, I think that the city tried their best to take care of the problem. They kept testing. But I think a lot of the problem with the water is the gossip and the half-truths and the stories. Because I know when there was a problem with the water, I got a note on my door telling me we had this test, this is what we found out. So I think a lot of the problem, once again, is not getting the whole story out. And I think that's something that needs to change. People need to, find out, go to the meetings. But I do want to say that every time there was a problem with the water on my street, there was a paper on my door saying we've tested the water. Or when the E. coli was in the water, there was a note on the door saying that, you need to boil your water. So I don't really know how to say it any different than that.
I think we'll go ahead and go in reverse order and do kind of a 1-minute closing statement of. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a homeowner in St. Mary's. I care about St. Mary's. I want to do the best job that I can for the citizens of St. Mary, and I really think that I can do that. Thank you.
I want to thank the Herald, the University of Missouri Extension, St. Genevieve Community Television, and any others who took part in sponsoring this candidate forum. I'm sure it's no small feat to coordinate all of it. I also want to thank the Elks for allowing the use of their facility. Thank you, panel members and audience, for taking time to come here tonight and to listen to what we have to say. I will close with this thought, which you will find in my candidate biography in the Herald. I believe once trust and rapport is established between the Board of Aldermen, which is the governing body of St. Mary, and the people who are the city, we will be able to finally work together, become more unified in purpose, and create a future for our city that we and future generations can be proud of. And I would say to voters, get out and vote. The ballot box is one of the first places that you can be heard. So go ahead and speak, for we're listening.
I just want to make it as simple as possible. I want to help. That's all. That's really what I want to do. I want to help the people. I want to help the government. I want to get them closer together. That's all I want to do. I want to help. I don't know how qualified I am for it. I'm going to try my hardest if I get elected. I'd like to thank everyone that came here tonight, all the panel members, all of the people that came, the TV, the Herald, all these wonderful people that decided, yay, we're worth it. And that's about it. Thanks.
Thank all three of you for coming and participating tonight. We'll invite the candidates for St. Mary Mayor to the podium.
Right? Whether you're aware of it or not, St. Genevieve Community Access Television is available county-wide now through the new website, and it's awesome. I know they're still working on it and probably don't want me to say the announcement, but what is that address, Don? StGenTV.com. And this program will be available through that website, correct? As soon as Don can get to it. So this isn't just a City of St. Gen asset for our community any longer. It's countywide and beyond. Awesome.
All right, I believe we're ready for the next stage with the mayoral candidates in the City of St. Mary. We have Frank Smith Jr., who's first on the ballot for the position, and the incumbent, Mayor Carlton Wyatt. We'll start with giving Mr. Smith opening statement time, 2 minutes.
I just want to see the citizens get involved, and you know, there's so many things that only the mayor can do and the aldermen can do without the citizens getting involved with the mayor and the aldermen themselves. It's a group effort. I mean, we all have to work together. That's it.
I've been sitting here listening to all this talk. I really didn't want to run for mayor this time. I wanted to step back and let somebody else take over. But to be mayor, you should be qualified. I got nothing against Frank here, but he's never held an office. He's never been an alderman. He don't have a business. He don't have the qualification to be mayor. I finally decided to run. I'll do my job. I'll do it to the best of my ability. I sit here and I've listened about the water. We had a hard time with our water. We finally get it straightened out, and they're still beating on the water. It's just a political issue. I got a 2.5-year-old great-grandson who I love more than life itself, and there's only 1 week that he didn't drink our water. Sure, it had some chloroform in it, but nothing dangerous. There was no so. The E. coli was only in there about 3 days, but it takes 3 weeks to get all the tests run, to get it out, even though it was just down to chloroform positive. That had to be cleared. But we didn't have E. coli in there. It never got a second test that was in there. One test. This water in St. Mary's is a political issue. We worked hard. I live there. I drank that water. I probably got more invested in this city than most of these people running here. And I don't want to lose. I got a business in there. I got employees. I got family members. I care for St. Mary's. I love St. Mary's. I could have moved away in '93 when the flood come, took a low-interest loan and built me a house up there on the hill for several thousand, $100,000. I want to live in St. Mary's. I live in a trailer because that's the only thing I could put there. but I wanted to stay in St. Mary's. I love St. Mary's. I work hard for St. Mary's. I work hard as mayor. I put in 20, 25 hours a week as mayor. Today I put in almost 6 hours as mayor out doing things with the cemetery and things. But I have the qualifications. I've been mayor for 11 years, alderman for 4 years. I have my own business in town. I can come and go as I please. I have the time to do it, and I will do it. And if reelected, I will serve for 3 years. And I know what's going on. I hear them talk about the meetings. We let them. I don't let nobody. I'm sorry. I thought I had 2 minutes. I've only been 35 seconds. Okay, I'm sorry. I could talk for a week on this.
We'll give you some more opportunities. You want to go ahead with a question?
If you're elected, what changes will you propose for your law enforcement?
Both of you.
I want to keep the police department. I don't plan on changing the police department. I think he could be more active than what he is, but we had these discussions. Most people don't want him to be more active because then he starts writing the ordinance violations and things like that. But personally, I would like for our officer to be a little more active than what he is, but as far as doing away with it, I would never want to do away with local control of the police department. Yeah.
I've heard several citizens say that if I'm elected, what are you going to do about the officer down there? When he's out and about, I do believe that he does his job. Some things that they just, he could have been a little bit more lenient on, but he is a law enforcement officer. Personally, there's nothing I can do. I can't say you're gone. That's something we'll have to discuss in the meetings, and it's not going to be one meeting or 2 meetings. It's going to be several meetings, and that's, again, the citizens need to be involved with the making of the decision. We need their input on, the yays and the nays and the, how that goes.
You have a question?
Yes. What do you think is the greatest strength of the city of St. Mary's? What's the greatest
Let's start with Mr. Smith.
The greatest strength is the people that live there. I feel that they don't know how to congregate and work with each other to make, everything work, but that's our greatest asset is the citizens, because without them, we're nothing. We're nothing.
Well, there's several things. To me, I think St. Mary's great. A lot of people don't. We've been butt in the county and everything for a long time, but I think we have a great chamber who does so much for our city, and every time called upon, they respond. But when I ask where I'm from, I'm not ashamed to tell them I'm from St. Mary's. I know a lot of people say, well, I live between St. Genevieve and Perryville. I live in St. Mary's. And I'm not a bit ashamed of it. And St. Mary has a lot of strength, and we do have a great chamber. For being landlocked and doing what we're doing we have a couple of factories. We have 2 buildings out there from Sabre Liners, and that's a big access. And our chamber helped create all that and working with the board. Again.
Gentlemen, I want to ask the same question I asked the candidates for alderman. What can the city do to encourage business development? What will you do to encourage business development in St. Mary?
Well, that's a tough one because there's not enough population there to really. We do have rail, but it's in a flood district, so it really don't do much. Main thing is keep what we got and try to get a little more. The chamber works real hard. That's the only place we got for business growth. The rest of it's in a flood area where you can't. There's a few places, but we always encourage people to come, but the main thing is to keep what you got. We're doing pretty good down in St. Mary's, considering a little town, not much. Our tax base, we're able to, our streets are not perfect, but they're getting better. And we do pretty good with what we got. But if anybody thinks St. Mary's is going to be a booming town of 700, 800, 900 people, it can't happen. But it can grow another few hundred people. Okay. And the chamber is helping that happen, and the board.
Thank you. Yeah, Mr. Smith, please.
Again, it sounds like I'm beating a dead horse with this, but you got to get the citizens involved. A lot of them, they travel either to St. John or Perryville or even further north or further south to work. You know, the citizens have got a lot to do with whether that town prospers or not. Okay? I mean, it's my town, it's his town. I'm not ashamed of it either. When people ask me where I live, St. Mary. I'm not ashamed of it. You know, every town has their problems. You just have to work with the citizens to make those problems either disappear or figure out some way to compromise with the citizens and the government. Compromise, it's common sense. You have to compromise. You're not going to get anywhere unless you compromise.
If I may, Toby, I'd like to ask another question because it builds on these answers. On occasion, some meetings of the Board of Aldermen have been, shall we say, a little lively. As mayor, what would you do to bring more civility to the process and to build stronger relationships with the citizens of St. Mary?
Let them talk and listen to them.
I'm glad you asked that question. Yeah. You know, I keep hearing, I take people's speech right away. I guess we should have been standing and do all this, but I'm more comfortable with that. We passed that ordinance. The one, the public forum in front, people think that, you know, the individuals can use it, but that's mostly for engineers and company business and people that want to come down and address the board about things. They send us what they want to do, and we can get stuff set up for it, investigate on it, and policies things. They're talking about once the board goes into regular session, it's their meeting. It's not the public meeting. If they talk about ordinance, now and then we're going back to the policy unless it's something mandated. It lays over first reading next month. That's when you get with your alderman. That's when your alderman gets with you. But he's your elected official. He's the one that's supposed to vote for you. You can't have a screaming match in the middle of the meeting. After the meeting, at the end, nobody talks. This last meeting was 5 minutes long. Anybody got anything to say? Everybody sit there and look at each other. But the same people that were looking at each other are sitting up here telling you I don't allow them to talk. One lady that just said they don't allow them to talk, I let her talk, extended their time till finally it was just a repeat. So you have to say, you know, either you have to move on or I'm going to have to stop you. So I let people talk.
Yes, he does give them the time to talk. You're allowed 2-3 minutes, whatever he decides. That 2 to 3 minutes, whatever he decides, you should talk. He should not interrupt. That is 3 minutes of their time that he should not interrupt every few seconds. The mayor, I'm not blaming it, you know, I'm not saying, pointing this at him. The mayor and the other people, that should be your time to talk, the citizens' right to talk, you know, without interruption, without, you know, and if the aldermen have questions, just like the citizens out there, they should raise their hand and the alderman should ask, well, you know, what should be done on this? And it's all compromise. I mean, you have to compromise. You have to be civil. These are human beings. Everybody is a human being, and they should be treated as so.
Any questions over there? Or?
Ladies?
Let me ask you guys what you think should happen next in terms of street projects for the city of St. Mary.
Well, there's a lot of streets that need repaired. You have to look at the finances. You have to look at which ones are, the worse off. The ones that need more access to, as far as, like the senior citizens apartments, the VA up there, the Marion Cliff, the ones that actually emergency vehicles need to get to if there's an emergency. And those are the ones that should be looked at first, and then on down the line. As far as, cindering and, during the winter and stuff, they've done a good job so far. I mean, this year and in the last year, it's getting better. But we should look at the ones that need to be accessed priority.
Yeah, the street, this new tax for the street road that we're getting in is going to help us improve our streets. But when I was mayor the first 8 years before I quit running, and I was out for 5 years, my program I had a program going that we would overlay a street, which is you take an inch or so and cover over to save that street and try to make a new street. We've got 4 streets left that's not asphalt. And I also had a program to replace the equipment every few years. Well, that went away in the 5 years I was gone from office. I'm trying to get it reinstated again. It looks like after this year, our street fund will be enough, but asphalt is so high, it'll be a limit to how far you can do it. But I plan on, if reelected, going back to the same program, but at least overlaying one street and working toward getting the other 4 asphalted. Starting with the worst one first, which that creates a problem because everybody thinks theirs is the worst one.
If I might ask you guys, what makes you believe you're the most qualified to handle the city's sewer situation? Sewers? Sewers.
Sewer. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I was there and part of the board when the original sewer come in. I understand it. I know it. I know the upgrades got to be done. Most everything we're fixing to do in the very near future is going to be government mandated. We got to put in a UV, which is government mandated. There's some things that we might be able to add to it with what little money we got to get done. But I know the engineer. I know the ins and outs of the sewer system. I was there when it was built. I've seen it when it was empty, and I've seen it when it was full. I know how to work with the engineer. I'm a business person. I know how to conduct business. And I think I'm qualified to help get a good sewer system complete again.
I'm not familiar with the sewer system and how it works. I mean, I'm, pretty sure how it works, but as far as that, we would just have to work with the companies, the sewer companies, and different companies to find out how we can make it better.
Do you guys have any further questions?
I do. I have a question submitted by the public, surprise about the water system. Summarized is what are you going to do, recognizing that there's been a lot of progress on the water system, what are you going to do as mayor to improve the water system and for you yourself to learn the system so that it can be improved?
Again, I'd have to work with, the companies that know the water system and know, like the DNR and all the different, companies out there that, and people that know how to check properly and do samples and I just have to work with the different companies, and I'm not real sure what I can do myself as far as that goes.
As far as learning how to work with DNR, they'll teach you how. I guarantee you, DNR, they'll teach you how to work with them. But I know the water system. I know most of the pipes in town. I understand that I don't have a license, and I don't claim to have a license. And most of the people that's running down our water people don't have a license. We got people that's taking tests and send them out and get them tested. That you got to be qualified to take a test, and then you sometimes you mess it up. That's why they let you take 2 in a row, because you can do everything perfect, and you come back with a bad test, and next time it'd be right, because you got to know what you're doing. I don't. I mean, that's Dennis Bove's department. I think he does a great job at it. But we've been doing everything humanly possible, but things don't happen overnight. Whenever we really got the problem located, well, at least everything is proven we do. All of our tests are coming back good again. It's in 200,000 gallon tank, and you can't see it. But whenever we worked with DNR and we finally kept backing it down and finding our stronger trace, it was traced to it. And the day that was traced to is the day we started fixing it. We started draining it. We worked with DNR. We worked with the county water system, who does a great job helping us, and our engineer, and we drained it. And now and then, I believe, heart and soul, that our water problem is behind us now. Now, I may be proven wrong, but every test we're running so far, but I'd say it's going to take at least 2 more months to stay clean, and then we'll be clean. And if that don't work, we will have to go to Plan B.
Okay. What is Plan B?
Chlorinate.
Chlorinating, okay.
There won't be no option to it, but we don't want to do it if we don't have to. And I don't think we're going to have to, and I think DNR is working with it, but they could come down tomorrow and tell us we got to. But I think our problem is behind us now. I hope after the election it won't be a political issue and everybody can talk about that. I don't know what's going to be next.
Okay.
I guess the sewer next.
Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, we have time for the 1-minute closing statement. Mr. Wyatt.
Well, I won't speak. You wouldn't let me have 2 hours walk over. I cut this real short. But I do. It bothers me to no end to hear people say, I won't let them talk at a meeting. You have a period which you can talk. I don't believe St. Genevieve, St. Louis, or any other city will let people speak anytime they want to speak. Now, if you're recognized, I'll let you speak. I don't interrupt. There's sometimes I have to interrupt if you get into something wrong. I don't limit what you talk about, and I don't let nobody talk about something that's going to be in litigation. I can't. But I don't deprive nobody right to talk, and I can't cut them, stop them. The board can extend the time. They got a 3-minute limit. This was passed by the Board of Aldermen. Can be extended by the board only. I don't have the authority to extend it. The board is the only one can extend it. It was put there that way. Everybody says I do it. I can't tell them they can't talk. There's a time they're in 3 minutes is up. Board can let them talk for 10 more minutes if they want to. Or they can stop. If they're being constructed, I've always seen during the regular forum, let them talk till they get to where they're repeating themselves. And then they shut it down. But well, now, if I'm elected, I'm going to continue to be mayor. I'm going to continue. When I took over as mayor, the last time, there were 2 cop cars and a county cop there running the meetings. Oh, okay. I still think I could take an hour.
If elected, I'm just going to work with the citizens and the aldermen and do the best we can for our city, the city of St. Mary.
All right, we'll have a real brief break, but next up is the Board of Aldermen. I'd like to thank both candidates for their participation.